This is the face of autism. This is my son and I. This is Alexander Joseph Wyllie, and he has autism. Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Welcome to my mental health channel, where I wipe away the stigma of mental illness by talking about my own personal struggles, having borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and depression. I talk about narcissism and my narcissistic mother, and I talk about schizophrenia. And I wrote a childhood memoir, Life with My Schizophrenic Father. I talk about all the therapists I've had sex with and been in unethical relationships and have been exploited, and their personal emails to me, all in these books. The links to all of these books down below in the description. And also I write about Alex a lot. My son Alex, who we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about autism. He's in my memoir, my childhood memoir, Life with My Schizophrenic Father. One caveat I have to say is I only come on as a former patient of almost 20 years. I am not a licensed therapist. I do not hold a degree in psychology, so I cannot diagnose you. All I ask in turn of you is your kindness and respect in the comments. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome. Hit that box below on the right-hand corner that says subscribe. That way you'll be notified each and every time a new video of mine comes out. It's 100% free, so you've got nothing to lose. Give it a thumbs up. Please share my videos. You do not need to ask permission. Share them with your friends and your family. Share them on your social media platforms. If you want to support my channel, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. The link to that is down below too in the descriptions. And I want to hear from you. I'll respond to every comment because your thoughts matter to me. Now, today we're going to talk about autism. This is the second video I've done on autism. Loving someone with autism, tips for a stronger bond. That's what we're going to talk about today on this video. My son was diagnosed with autism at the age of like 2.5, 3 years old, like that. I first started noticing that he didn't have, there was a language delay. That's one thing. He had peculiar like what is called stimming. Stimming is like what autistic people do to soothe themselves. So like flapping. My son still does this today, and he's almost 30. He'll go like this. This is called stimming. Stimming could be rocking like this. He had those. He was very he had like sensory overwhelm. He didn't like to wear clothes. He didn't like the tags. I had to cut off all the tags on his clothes because, you know, he was overloaded. His senses was like it's called sensory overwhelming. He was overwhelmed by things, foods. He would throw up all the time. Then I noticed he wouldn't play with me. He wouldn't play with other children. When we brought him to Jamboree, a children's play group, he would play in the same area alongside with children, but he wouldn't interact with children. He would just be alongside of them. He would also lick the furniture. I don't know what that was all about. He'd walk on his toes. He had all these odd tics. So we brought him in for testing, and sure enough, he was on the autistic spectrum. What's really tragic about his life is that he had, I'll talk about IEPs, they're individual educational plans for children who have special needs. We call it special needs. And they just learn different. All special needs means is they learn different. And it's an individual plan so that he gets extra care and attention because of his autism. Where the rest of the children in the class who don't have autism or special needs, they, you know, get the regular curriculum. My son Alex had his own, so he was in smaller groups. He wasn't in a large room, and there was other things in the IEP that he needed, like extra speech lessons that other children didn't get because they didn't have autism. So where was I going with this? The tragedy about my son is he was getting better. His autism was getting better, and he was going to be fully integrated, meaning he was going to be in a regular classroom when he hit kindergarten. But he was struck down with traumatic brain injury from a severe illness, pneumococcal meningitis. People die with that. You can look that up, pneumococcal meningitis, if you know how to spell it. You can ask, who's that person? Alexa. Alexa, what is that? I'm not here to talk about pneumococcal meningitis. I'm not here to talk about brain damage, but my son now is an invalid, not because of his autism, because of his traumatic brain injury. What makes my story so friggin' unique is because here's an autistic child who was stricken with meningitis, who turned into an invalid because of his brain damage, not his autism. I want to make that clear. The doctor said this is like 1 in a billion case, that an autistic child was also was stricken down with meningitis and became an invalid. Like, that's like 1 in a billion cases. That's unheard of. All these stories that I share with you, like with my psychologist, if you look deeper and read the story, read the books, which are all true. This is all nonfiction, okay? These books are all nonfiction. It just is, my life is so bizarre. It really is. It's so bizarre that I went through all this. But I'm not going to talk about that, and I'm not going to talk about brain damage, which my son has now. I'm going to just keep this to autism. So, a lot of people think, especially as autistic people grow up, that they are like, they have no emotions. They're like mechanical robots. They have a very hard time making friends. They have a very hard time socializing. They struggle to make and maintain friendships, and they don't always express themselves the way they mean to. They don't always they don't pick up on social cues or body language. They oftentimes, it's very difficult. They have sensory they're overwhelmed. Like, think of if someone put itching powder down your shirt, right? And you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You're itchy. Or think if you've had mosquito bites in the summer. Think about that. If you have like a lot of mosquito bites in your, or poison ivy. Oh my God, I got the worst case. Think of something like that. If you had poison ivy or mosquito bites, where you're like this, and this is how they feel all the time. Certain clothes, tags. They just, it's just like sensory overwhelming to them. And foods, a lot of autistic children, maybe even adults, don't like to get their hair cut, their nails cut. They have temper tantrums. My son had constant temper tantrums. You couldn't bring him anywhere. You couldn't bring him to the mall. You couldn't bring him to the restaurants, because he'd like go on the floor and start screaming and pounding. Think of all the frustration it is for them, because like they're locked up inside and they can't like really express, they can't convey how they're feeling. So you become frustrated. If I couldn't convey how I felt to someone, I'd be very frustrated. Like, you want to express how you feel, but it gets all jumbled up inside. I'm not an autistic person, okay? So I'm not coming on here talking from that point. I'm talking about I am someone who has loved someone with autism, my son, and tips how I became very close to him. And don't think that autistic people aren't lovable. All right? You are lovable. If you have autism, I just want you to know that you are a very lovable person. All right? We all are special in our own way. I have borderline personality disorder, I see the world different. I see the world in black and white. So that's why I'm wearing a black and white top. And autistic people see the world differently too. So there's a lot of people out there. My father had schizophrenia and he saw the world differently. So my father was very lovable and my son is very lovable. In fact, let me read on the back of my father's book here. It also involved my son. I wanted to write this book so people could understand more about mental illness and its effects on people. I also wanted to write it in special memory of my father so that I could share with the world the close relationship I had with him. In this book, I talk about my own struggles as a borderline, along with my eldest son's struggles from brain damage, Alex, which he contracted through meningitis when he was only 4 years old. I put 4. Through it all, the one thing that has remained is love. And people think that, schizophrenia are crazy people that are dangerous to society, that are locked up, or in jail or locked up in mental wards. And they used to lock up people with autism too, a long time ago, because people didn't understand. What people don't understand, they become afraid of. And they become afraid of them and they think they're unsafe to society. But this is not true. This is not true at all. And I'm going to share some tips for loving someone with autism. I think you have to love someone on their own terms, okay? A special needs person. So you have to be a little bit more flexible, okay? And love them on their terms. What does that mean, love them on their terms? Well, it means that I had to respect my son's boundaries, all right, which was very hard in the beginning as a new parent. I had very little patience because I couldn't understand. He needs a haircut. His hair is too long. I need to cut his hair, or he would throw a temper tantrum. Or, he didn't like to wear certain clothes. I had to cut the tags off. Even then, when I cut the tags off, he didn't like to wear them. And I said, well, he needs to get dressed for school, I can't go, he won't wear that and he won't wear this. Well, I cut the tags of this off. And then, I became impatient. I became frustrated. And that's not going to help. Maybe your autistic partner or child or, you only prefers one or two things, so you have to go with that. You give them maybe they only like one or two shirts, so you say, which shirt do you want to wear today, the red one or the blue one? Instead of saying you always wear those same two shirts. You have to love them on their terms. How I played with my son, okay, because he didn't play with me, he always played alongside, he never interacted. He used to love to take toy cars and hit them, smash them up against the wall. That's what he did. And so I would take a toy car and I go, crash! And I do the same thing he was doing. So I would mimic the way he played. And then he'd smile and laugh. See, so I got a response out of him because I was looking at the way he was playing. And I also was playing the same way beside him, all right? I would just take his lead. Also, you need to slow down. And, because a person with autism, even an adult, has sensory overload. So slow down and make sure someone understands or gets what you're saying. I know it's a fast-paced world, and we all talk very fast, trying to, get out, especially me at my age, because I forget easily. If I don't say something right away, if I don't come out, I usually interrupt people, because then it's gone. If it'll be gone like, what was I going to say? Oh. So you need to, slow it down. Understand their limits, understand their boundaries. There's a lot of services out there like Disney World. You can bring your autistic child to Disney World. They have a disability pass for children and adults who have special needs. And if you're a child or adult person, I'm going to say adult person too, because many people are in love with people who are autistic, or they're friends with someone, or they know adults who are autistic, and they have a hard time waiting in line. They have these disability passes, so they can go right into the ride with the pass, and their family can go right into the ride. You got to look into these things. There's a lot of help out there, but you have to know. So if you wanted to plan a trip to Disney World and you go, oh no, that's never going to work. Yes, it will. It's going to work. You call up and you explain about, your situation, whatever it is, and you can get a disability pass. It's not the same as a fast pass, whatever those fast passes are that anyone can get. They just cost a lot of extra money. It's not that. It's a disability pass, okay? And you can get that for a lot of places, not just Disney World, okay? So that will take all the stress out of your vacation, that you can bring your person, your special person, right in, and they don't have to wait, or, But also there's a lot of rides that they can't or should not go on. And Disney World has a lot of overstimulating things too, so you have to think ahead, and in that respect too, they can get. But like, there's a lot of rides that aren't overstimulating, or you can try certain things out and see what your child would like. But I'm just using that as an example, not to try to push you to go to Disney World, but because there are things out there that can, that will aid you. You just have to look into them. So I just try to have, I try to slow things down. I try to love him on his level. I know some people wrote in my last video, one person wrote that it was very difficult because the father, I think, couldn't hug his autistic daughter because she didn't like to be touched. And I understand as a parent, you want to hold, you want to hug your child, and that can be very difficult. But it's not true that autistic people don't want to be loved and don't want to be touched. They do, but they want to do it on their terms, okay? See, there's a difference. So you just can't go up and, go in for it. You have to, wait till they're ready, okay? And, just be there and introduce touch slowly. Let them do it on their terms, gradually, on their terms. That's the best advice I can give you. You have to love people on their terms, autistic or not, or not autistic, especially special needs people. You have to realize that, they get frustrated very easily, that they can't express themselves, and and giving them too much, like I said with the shirts, giving them too many options can be, overstimulating. So like with the shirts, you could pick out 2 shirts or 2 pants that your child likes, that your child feels comfortable wearing, and then give them the option, which one do you want to wear today? You have to, you have to go take their lead. All right, go by their lead. You have to follow their lead. That is it. Follow when they want to be touched, how much they want to be touched. They'll let you know. But you got to be perceptive, okay? And you got to slow things down. And there's help out there, like I said. There's a disability act where you can get, you qualify, you can get things like that, like the disability pass at Disney World. I don't know, there's a ton of other things out there too that will help so that your child doesn't have to suffer, and like we usually say to Alex, calm down. He goes, calm down. And then, you know what, he's so cute, he'll say, chill, bro. He goes like this, calm down, chill, bro. I mean, you don't say this when he's in the middle of screaming in a temper tantrum. You can't tell him calm down. But he's so cute. Like he knows when he knows more about himself. He knows when he's getting worked up. So he'll go, calm down. So yeah, I mean, if your daughter isn't looking to hug you, you can introduce touch slowly and gradually. You know, pick up her body signs, because you can pick up body signs, body cues, facial expressions. Be at her level. Let her lead the relationship. Okay, take her lead. All right, take her lead is the best advice that I can give you. And autistic people are extremely lovable. They're extremely intelligent. Okay, don't think there's another form of autism, aspergers. My son's best friend had aspergers, and he went on to be an engineer. He went on to get high degrees. Extremely intelligent, but he didn't have those cues. He didn't pick up on certain cues, so it was like socially awkward. But he had tons of friends. He had tons of friends. The best thing to do is educate people about this, so they'll understand it more. Tell people, educate people, so they can have compassion, they can have understanding. And hey, they're very intelligent. Autistic people are very lovable. You just gotta love them on their terms, right? So let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope I, covered enough material. If there's more that you want me to cover, let me know, and let me hear from you. Are you autistic? Do you love someone who's autistic? All right, till next time, take care. Bye-bye.